Thanks for joining me. We're getting close to Valentine's Day here, and a very popular treat for Valentine's Day are chocolate covered strawberries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my method for making them, and I usually do this 3 to 4, maybe 5 times a year, and the results actually seem to turn out better than store-bought. So before you even start, you want some fresh strawberries, you want knife, cutting board, a silicone sauce brush, silicone spatula. I'm using a canned drink box because that's what I have, but a cereal box works really good, as well as a non-stick pot works best for me, and some cooking oil, toothpicks, and my choice that I prefer the most is Jersey milk chocolate bars, but really any plain milk chocolate or type of chocolate that you like is important. With a lot of the increases in cocoa prices, I would recommend looking at the ingredients and making sure that it is actually chocolate still. If you don't have a canned drink box, a cereal box works really good, or a piece of styrofoam is even better if you can get it. So I'll start showing you the steps here. Okay, so I have my freshly washed strawberries, and just a note on selection if you're at the store going to be buying them is try to look for ones that are medium in size. I find that they work better for coverage, and maybe the ratio of chocolate to strawberry is the best. These large ones aren't great, but they'll do. What you want to do next is you want to look at each strawberry, remove the top, the green part, and just inspect the strawberry and make sure that there's not any bad parts that you need to remove. Got all of our tops removed, any bad pieces removed. Next thing you need to do is you need to count out how many strawberries you actually have. 21. So then you take your box or your styrofoam, whichever you're using, and you're gonna make the number of strawberries that you have holes on the top of the box. Make sure to kind of space them out a little bit. You don't want to make the holes too big because you're going to be using a toothpick to stick into them. So you want it to kind of fit in there snug, so the berry is elevated from the box. I always make a couple extra because sometimes the spacing doesn't work out. Alright, so the next thing I like to do is I take toothpicks and I get all the berries ready, because once the chocolate is at the right temperature and melted, you don't have a whole lot of time. Otherwise the chocolate can get burned or loses, I guess, enough water. It just doesn't, it loses the right consistency. Now I guess if you're doing this and you really want to keep the tops on, maybe you think that appearance would look better, so be it. It really won't change anything, but I just find when you're actually eating these, it's better just to kind of have them, the tops are removed, and you can have the thing covered mostly in chocolate and not worry about that. Okay, so now we're ready to start. So I turn my oven on, the stovetop, the element on low, like one of the lowest settings you can get. Probably if a 1 or 2 if it's all numbers. Add a little bit of cooking oil. I use canola oil. Maybe like a teaspoon and a half. Use your spatula, stir it around so it's all over the bottom. I usually have a plate to the side where I rest my brush, because it's going to be covered in chocolate, and my spatula. Now you take your chocolate, and break it all up. And when you're buying this chocolate, you're going to want at least, depending how many berries you're doing, but I would say at least 120 grams. Probably the more the better, because you'd rather have too much than not enough. So I have about 150 here. Probably should have had 200 for the berries that I'm doing. It doesn't take very long for the chocolate to start melting, so don't leave. That's why you have everything ready beforehand. Don't leave the area, otherwise it could all burn to the bottom. Okay, so we're about 2 or 3 minutes in. You can see that it's starting to melt. Okay, so I'm just getting to the point now where we can get started. One final stir to kind of make sure. Okay, so I like to start with the smallest ones that I have first. Take your sauce brush and you just start painting it on. Okay, done. Place it in the box. This is why I like using cereal boxes more, because it's a little more sturdy, but we'll make it work. And just to note, you're gonna get covered in chocolate probably, so be careful what you're wearing when you're doing this. But you can see it's a nice consistency, evenly coated, and then the toothpick keeps it elevated off the bottom of the box. So if you haven't already, if you're not already on low for your stove, make sure you turn it right down now, because you don't need that much heat anymore. And if you have it too high, it's going to burn the chocolate and make it chalky, and it won't coat your berries very well. Okay, so just as I'm getting lower here, like I said earlier, maybe I should have had one more chocolate bar. So like 200 grams of chocolate probably is the best. You can do about 2 dozen strawberries. You try not to have the strawberries touch each other on the box, but sometimes it's not possible. It won't really ruin it. Depends what you're going for on presentation. It's kind of a race against the clock here, because I'm using up a lot of my chocolate. It's starting to dry out on the bottom a little bit, not too bad. You can turn your element rate off. And you see why I like smaller berries, because it just doesn't coat the same when you have it on a cut end. Okay, so I just finished up. You can see I did not have a lot of chocolate left, so adjust accordingly. Like I said, 200 grams is probably the best. So all you have to do from here is place this in the refrigerator for, I don't know, half an hour should be more than enough. The chocolate will get nice and firm and they're ready to serve. You can take them off the box, put them on a nice serving tray or in another type of container, and I hope you enjoy them. If you like this video, please drop a like, leave me a comment if you made these and had some success with them, they turned out okay, or any suggestions. Thank you.